So today we're going to be making these classic pegboard games a good project that you can do in just an afternoon. It's also another good project that you can make using scraps from some hardwood cutoffs. And we're going to also be making a template and using the template to lay out the holes for this project. Another good thing about the template is if you have a board that is odd shaped or sized, you can use this template to lay out multiple games on that board to try to maximize the pieces without having too much waste. And also at the end of the video, I'm going to tell y'all what I think about making this template out of plywood and what you can do to make it better. So the first thing we're going to do is cut our template. We're going to cut this to 6 inches using a stop block on the table saw sled to make the cut. Extremely handy if you're going to be making multiple cuts at the same length. You do not have to use a sled if you don't have it, and also use a miter saw. Now mark and draw a vertical line down the center of your board, using this to lay out your left and right side of your board. Measure from each lower corner up 6 inches, letting that cross over the center line. Then you'll need to draw a line from that point down to both your sides, creating 3 equal sides on your material. Now cut the other 2 sides a little proud on the bandsaw. This will give you room to clean the cut up later. Now to clean up the bandsaw marks, you can just simply use the disc sander. I like to knock off the edges with a sander or sandpaper to get rid of the splinters on the edge of your template. And then you can mark a 1/2 inch line all the way around. This will start the layout for your holes on all 3 sides. Now you can make 3 marks evenly spaced on your layout on each one of the sides. After marking the last 2 sides, then you'll have 12 of your 15 holes ready to drill. Now that you have those marked, you can lay out for the 3 middle holes. Connecting your dots along the sides with a straight edge will create parallel lines from the bottom. Then repeat this process on the other 2 sides of your template. At this point, this is what your template should look like, with all the lines intersecting one another. Now to make sure we are drilling everything in the right location, go ahead and circle all the intersecting lines that will indicate where you need to drill your holes. And this is a closer look at what it should look like with all the hole locations marked. With all the hole locations marked, you can use a cordless drill, but the drill press will ensure more accurate holes. Simply set your guide to help with alignment with the outer holes. Now that the template is finished, transfer your shape to your workpiece. In our case, we are making 2, so the template will help in eliminating waste if you're making multiple pieces, letting you configure them different ways on your workpiece to cut down on waste. You can cut your board at the miter saw or at the bandsaw, but just remember the bandsaw will leave a fair amount of blade marks that will have to be cleaned up later. Now for the fun part. If you do use the bandsaw, you will have a good bit of sand to do versus using the miter saw. Depending on what kind of material you are using, this could be a good bit of work. So this is something that you do not have to do, but I like sanding the edges on my material to give it a softer feel. Now drill the holes out, making sure that you set your depth of gauge to the depth that you want, giving plenty of room for the pins. You do not want to drill through the bottom of your workpiece. Now drill the holes out, making sure that you set your depth of gauge to the depth that you want, giving plenty of room for the pins. You do not want to drill through the bottom of your workpiece. A little bit of sand in with some 220 grit sandpaper, and then you can apply some finish. Now applying about 7 coats of polyacrylic spray, sanding between each coat with a 220 sandpaper. So the way that I like to spray these is hanging them with a wire or a clothes hanger from a board, letting you get all sides. Alright y'all, so we are finished making the pegboard game. This is a good game that just about anybody can play. You can also play it by yourself. The bad thing about these templates that I made is made out of Luan or plywood, and every time you use this, it tends to rub the side of those holes and make the hole just a little bit bigger. So every time you use it, there is a chance that it's going to be a little more inaccurate every time. So what I would do is use some kind of hardwood like oak or walnut, or just some kind of hardwood that would last longer than this Luan would. But besides that, if you're just going to make a handful of these, I think you can get away with using this and not have to spend much money on a template, and just make the template one time. So anyhow, I hope y'all enjoyed the video today. I hope this inspires you or gives you an idea of what you can use some of your cutoffs, especially some of your expensive hardwoods. So anyhow, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. If you hadn't subscribed to the channel already, don't forget to do that, and I'll see y'all on the next one.